Hello, my name is Doomraker and I'm a video editor at DOS Reviews, and this is going to be our part 2 of 4 of our Starcraft beta preview showcase. Basically, in this showcase, I'm going to show you off all the new Terren units, the Terren abilities, stuff that got ported over from the original to the second. But why don't we go ahead and start off with just the buildings in general. First of all, you're going to have your command center. The command center is the basic unit that everything is based off of for the Terrans. You build your SCVs from here, which are designed to build everything from repairing units to building all these buildings. Some of the new things the command center can do now are, well, if they originally had, like sensor scan, do this. Yeah, I can see what they're doing. Or I can build extra supply depots on top of one of my supplies. Or I can even drop in a temporary SCV, which will mine faster than the basic ones. You notice I really don't have very many over here because I have an expansion somewhere else. Let's go down the line. I would never structure my base like this, so don't ever think this is the way it's going to go. Let's start off with the basics. The first one you ever build is obviously the refinery to go ahead and do some Thespian mining. Second thing we're going to offer is the barracks. The barracks is where you build the Marines, the Marauders, the Reapers, and the Ghosts. Engineering bay is where you build your upgrades. Ghost Academy is kind of like the replacement for the science vessel kind of thing that was in the first game that did all kind of the science upgrades, but this is generically for the Ghosts. And instead of having a missile silo on a command center, it is now in this. This is what you build to make nuclear missiles. Next we got the factory, which is what builds the Hellions, which are like little jeep things. Then we have the siege tanks, which are a classic Terran unit, which, have basic tank mode, then they can go into siege mode to do extra damage from a range, but can't shoot close to themselves. The starport, which is also a classic unit, where they got Vikings, Medevacs, Banshees, Ravens, and battle cruisers. Then you got the armory, which is required for some upgrades, and then you got the fusion core, which is what makes the battle cruisers, the Yamato cannon, and the extra energy. And also we have the supply depots. Now the reason why I mention these separately is because they have the coolest ability probably for the Terrans, in my opinion, is because it's easiest to do your base defenses and all that kind of stuff with. And that's to lower and raise. Basically you can now make walls instead of like blowing up your walls. I'm sorry, I'm being attacked right now. Instead of blowing up your walls, you can just lower them, let your guys out, and raise it back up. Basically acts as a wall. Some of the original stuff that's going to return is the bunkers. Bunkers now have a new ability where I can blow them up to return the mineral count to me, so I don't feel like I'm wasting bunkers. Use them at the beginning, reduce that, and then go from there. Missile turrets come back, and they're pretty much the exact same. They didn't really change. Probably one of the other cooler ones is called a sensor tower. Basically what this tower does is that it tells me when something is coming towards my base. It doesn't tell me what it is. It just tells me, oh, you have this many units. Here, I'll even show you right now. It tells me that there are 6 units on their way to my base right now to try and destroy me. Not going to happen. The computer is fairly dumb in this game as of right now, so why don't I go off and fend this attack off. Those are some of the new Protoss units. I'll get to them in a little bit when we get to that point. So why don't we go ahead and look at some of the new units. First unit we're going to look at is the Marine. Marine is a classic Terran unit. Basic grunt infantry, very good at what they do. Shoot bullets, that's all they got. Next unit is going to be the Marauder. This is a heavier version of the Marine. Basically what this unit does is it shoots rockets that slow down your enemies and deal slight splash damage, which is also really cool. Another unit that comes from the barracks is the Reapers. Now the Reapers are probably the most unique unit that the Terrans have got because they can jump up and down cliffs, which very few other units do. They jump up and down cliffs and make some really good base raiders early game, as you can jump in and kill all the SCVs. No problem, right? Last but least is the classic Starcraft unit of the Ghosts. These are the guys who drop the nukes, can go cloak. They can now do something called an EMP, which basically destroys all shields in that small area for stuff like the Protoss. They don't really do much against Zerg, but past that it's quite alright. Like I said before, the Hellions were added. They're basically just little jeeps with flamethrowers, which is pretty cool. Very good for splash damage against Zerg units. Siege tanks, like I said before, are coming back. This time they also have the siege mode. They can shoot anywhere in this nice little red radius that they show, so any units get in that radius, they instantly probably die. Probably the biggest unit for the Terrans is the new Thor unit. Basically, this is the anti-air, anti-everything. Hold on, let me get rid of this guy. Anti-air and anti-ground. This thing is huge. The 4 cannons on the back basically make it so it can shoot the air, 2 in the front. Now, one of the other cool things is that it can basically salvo an area from a distance and kill a unit or disable a unit that has lots of HP before it can do anything, like the Protoss mothership, which I'll get into, and some of the other larger units. Let's get to the air units. The air units are the Viking, which is a basic air unit. It's kind of like the Scout in the original game for the Protoss, except for it can turn into a transformer, get on the ground, and start shooting. But it can only shoot the ground at this point, not the air. Turn back into fighter mode to shoot the air. That time going up and down, you can be shot at for. Second unit is the Medevac. It's basically the mix of the shuttle and the medic that was in Brood War. Let these guys kill each other. The next one is going to be the Raven. This basically replaces the Science Vessel, except it no longer does cloaking. It doesn't cloak any of the units near you. But it can throw out a cool little defense drone, which is like a auto turret that lasts for a while. Shoots people. Very nice to have when you're dropping into bases. It also has a really cool tech. I don't have enough energy to show you, but the Seeker missile. Basically what it does is it shoots a heat-seeking missile at a group of targets, like mutalisks or any like Hydros or ground targets, and it does a ton of damage. It will blow up large groups of stuff with one Seeker missile. However, it takes a good chunk of the information to use. Then you got the Banshees, which are kind of like the Valkyries in the original game, except for they now have cloaking, which is a pretty cool little thing. They can cloak in and out. You go into the base, blow it up, run away. The last but not least is the Battle Cruisers. This was the big unit that the Terren had in the original game. This is kind of their trump card. It does have the Yamato cannon like in the original. Unfortunately, I don't have enough energy or even the tech to show you, but it does shoot the large bolt of lightning at stuff, and it does go ahead and blow everything it can up. It's got anti-air, anti-ground, it's got everything. This is going to be, you know, our Terren slideshow of our preview showcase. If you want to see anything else, stay tuned. On our next one, we'll show you the Protoss units, then we'll get to the Zerg.